A violent lurch slammed Kai Mercer against the cold metal wall of his cell. Crimson emergency lights pulsed, painting the corridor outside the transparent containment field in strokes of blood. Alarm shrieked alien catastrophe. Prisoner specimen strategist Kai Mercer knew this feeling. The calculated disaster of the Kepler 186F withdrawal. His rearguard action bought Earth's transport's time but left him stranded, the prize the Shaari Empire coveted, not his body, but the erratic, unpredictable pathways of his mind. The kind of thinking they dragged him across half the galaxy to dissect guttural Shaari shouts echoed laced with uncharacteristic panic. Another impact vibrated through the deck plating. Explosions. Searing discharges of energy weapons. The steady thrum of the Starlit Sovereign Queen, Xarynn's flagship, faltered into a grinding agony. Kai pressed against the wavering energy field. Shaari guards, usually implacable in obsidian carapaces, rushed past their nacreous skin, flickering alarmed yellow and combat crimson. Tension etched their faces. This was no drill. The Sovereign was under direct assault. His mind processed automatically coordinated boarding, hitting engineering and docking bays, internal breaches, widespread, failing engines, pirates, unlikely against a flagship, rebels. The Shaari projected monolithic unity, an enemy fleet penetrating these defenses, improbable. Then he saw them. Figures clad in battered non-standard plating composites, bearing the marks of countless rough landings and firefights. They moved with a practiced brutal economy of motion. Their weapons were a savage mix. Kinetic slugs chewing through bulkheads, focused plasma streams leaving incandescent scars. Cruder, then Shaari tech ruthlessly effective mercenaries. Kai revised professionals. They flowed through the corridors, cutting down disciplined guards with efficient lethality. The containment field flickered violently as another explosion rocked a nearby section. Sparks rained down, power fluctuations, hope sharp and unwelcome after weeks of resignation pierced through him. A fallen guard lay just outside, energy sidearms scant meters away. The main lights died, plunging the corridor into darkness before the red strobes kicked back in. In that instant, the distinct hum of the containment field hissed, sputtered, and died. Freedom instinct surged. Kai lunged, scooping up the discarded pistol, alien grip but humming with latent power. Where to run deep within a hostile warship? Tearing itself apart, blind flight was death. Survival meant engaging chaos was opportunity. His specific skill set honed against human adversaries might be the most valuable asset here, especially against an enemy using the very asymmetric tactics the Shaari captured him to understand charge indicator nearly full. He flattened himself against the bulkhead, peering around the corner. The invaders used leapfrog tactics, clearing sectors with grim discipline. Well trained. He needed intel, the command center. Ironically, survival now lay with his captors. He moved cautiously, hugging shadows, heading away from the main advance towards the ship's core. Rounding a junction, slick with coolant, he nearly collided with panicked Shaari, courtiers or officials. Their fine tunics stained their skin, shifting through chaotic patterns of terror. Pale blue and green plasma erupted from the corridor's end. Two mercenaries charged rifles, spitting destruction. The officials scattered, screaming. Years of training slammed into place. Kai raised the unfamiliar pistol, fired twice. Searing lances of light struck the lead mercenary's chest plate, throwing him back, armor smoking. The second attacker stumbled, startled by resistance from a supposedly cleared section. Kai fired again. The bolt scorched the bulkhead as the merc dodged. Return fire slammed near Kai's head, showering his cheek with hot fragments. He ducked back. The mercenary advanced methodically, using overturned debris for cover. The officials vanished alone. He scanned the damaged corridor. Sparking conduits, ripped panels, a large, partially dislodged ventilation grate low on the wall. Risky. He fired twice more to suppress, then sprinted, kicking the grate hard. It popped open with a screech. He scrambled inside, pulling it partially closed as plasma slagged the metal where he'd been. Dark cramped thick with ozone and burning circuits. He heard the mercenary searching methodically outside. Then the heavy boot falls receded. Safe for now, but trapped. Pistol tight, he crawled deeper, muffled detonations vibrating through the metal. The Starlit Sovereign was fighting for its life, and somewhere within was Queen Xarynn. Her survival, Kai realized with growing certainty, might be inextricably linked to his own. Queen Xarynn felt the deck shudder. The bridge, normally a sanctuary of calm command, descended into pandemonium. Consoles sparked violently. Klaxons wailed their discordant symphony. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Internal security, compromised engine power. Failing catastrophically. Status now. Xarynn snapped her voice a whip crack, her amethyst and silver skin pulsing combat red and high alert yellow. Majesty, multiple borders, confirmed decks, 5 through 9. Tactical Officer Vorlag reported Knuckles, white on his console. They bypassed primary cordons. Somehow. They knew the patrol routes, the sensor gaps. Fury and disbelief tightened his voice. Heavily armed, extremely disciplined. Not common pirates. Their coordination, surgical. He glanced uneasily at a schematic showing the royal sector, worrying reports. Heavy fighting near Prince Valak's suites, a chill deeper than the bridge temperature hit. Xarynn Valak, seal bridge access immediately. Override all local controls. Code Omega lockdown. Divert auxiliary power reserves to internal defense grids. Lockdown initiated. Majesty Vorlag. Confirmed fingers flying. Heavy blast doors slammed shut across the tactical display. But they're already inside the main security perimeter. Scans indicate multiple teams converging on primary command and control centers. And as feared the royal suites, targeted inside knowledge. A violent explosion ripped through the corridor directly outside the bridge entrance. The massive blast door buckled inward with a horrific groan. Thick smoke and incandescent debris pouring through the warped, glowing frame. Figures in salvaged armor charged through firing indiscriminately. Plasma lances seared across the bridge. Her royal guard intercepted, forming a protective cordon around her throne. Ethereal energy blades clashed against brutal vibroaxes and sputtering kinetic weapons. Kai glimpsed Captain Lycoris among them, his face a mask of grim resolve, seemingly ignoring a minor hull integrity warning flashing near his station as he engaged an attacker. Savage close-quarters fighting. The bridge became a claustrophobic death trap. Xarynn drew her ceremonial sidearm, potent, rarely used. She fired with practiced calm, downing an attacker aiming a heavy slug thrower at Vorlag's exposed back. Her guards fought with disciplined fury, executing complex maneuvers, but they were outnumbered, caught off guard by the sheer ferocity. One by one, they fell vibrant skin, fading to lifeless gray. Soon, only Xarynn and a grievously wounded Vorlag remained backed against the static-filled view screen. 3 attackers advanced predatory, savoring the moment. The Queen One rasped through a cheap vocoder, gesturing at the carnage with his weapon. Prince Valak sends his Regards. Valak. Betrayal cold and absolute. Her cousin. This wasn't piracy. It was a coup. He hadn't been attacked. He was the attacker. Rage surged, turning her skin blazing crimson. How could she have been so blind? She raised her pistol, preparing to sell her life dearly. The leader lunged, axe raised. Suddenly, a ceiling panel above exploded downwards. A figure dropped silently into their midst, landing in a balanced crouch. Human Kai Mercer. Shaari energy pistol held firmly, radiating deadly competence. Before the stunned attackers reacted, he fired precise bursts, 1, 2, 3. Each searing shot found its mark. The attackers' crumpled armor smoking. Kai straightened, sweeping the pistol across the breach. His gaze met Xarynn's. No fear, just focused intensity. Looks like a hostile takeover. Your Majesty, Kai said calmly. These aren't opportunistic raiders, too organized, knew exactly where and how to hit you. Xarynn stared speechless. Her prisoner, the specimen, had just saved her. Suspicion warred with reluctant realization. This human grasped the tactical reality instantly. How did you escape containment? She demanded, pistol, still wary. Power fluctuations. Lucky break, Kai replied, evenly. Holstering the pistol, raising his hands slightly. Look, the immediate problem is bigger than me or you. Your ship is being systematically dismantled by people who want you dead. They're using pirate tactics as a sophisticated cover for assassination and seizure. You need someone unpredictable, someone outside their calculations. He paused. That would be me. Vorlag, clutching a rapidly staining wound, managed a pained nod. Majesty, he speaks truth. Their tactics, unconventional, surgically precise. They knew our protocols. Xarynn considered the human grimy, armed with her own weapon, yet radiating unsettling confidence. An unknown variable. Valak wouldn't have anticipated. Valak relied on Shaari predictability, strict honor codes. This human operated entirely outside those constraints. Why should I possibly trust you? Human. You shouldn't, Kai said frankly. Logically. But options are limited. Your guards are down. Command structure is compromised. Whoever leads these mercenaries knows your standard procedures inside out. They don't know mine. He gestured to the hole he dropped from. Came through the ventilation shafts. A maze, but it bypasses most of their checkpoints. We can use them to move unseen. Perhaps even fight back effectively. Fight back. Fury resonated. She wouldn't die whimpering. She looked at Kai, Mercer sharp, intelligence cold calculation, and a shared primal understanding of survival. Very well. Kai Mercer, she decided, the decision solidifying. A temporary tactical alliance is formed. Assist me in neutralizing the immediate threat. Your unconventional expertise is provisionally acknowledged. She finally decisively holstered her pistol. Lead the way through your shafts. Kai nodded, grim satisfaction touching his eyes. All right, Your Majesty. Time to disappear. He offered a hand up into the darkness above. Xarynn hesitated only a heartbeat before accepting his surprisingly strong grip. An alliance forged in desperation and fire-defying protocol and prejudice. Together, the Queen and her human prisoner vanished into the shadowed conduits of the dying Starlit Sovereign. Sections describing the journey through the vent's confrontation with the two mercenaries and defense of Auxiliary Command remain largely similar to the previous version, but with varied descriptive language for actions and environments and slightly more distinct dialogue for the captured mercenaries. Sample. Dialogue change. During mercenary interrogation. Mercenary 1. Wounded Defiant. Void. Take you both. Valak will scour the weakness from this empire. Mercenary 2 eyes darting nervously. Easy Coral look. Majesty, he offered triple hazard pay. Clean slate. Said you were contained. Permanently. We just follow orders. Get paid. Valak's on the secondary bridge. Deck 3. Running the whole show. Got his Crimson Guard. Praetorians with him. They have the master keys for Auxiliary Command's defenses. Breaching any minute now. The journey to Deck 3. The close quarters in the conduit and the kiss remain similar, emphasizing the shared tension and growing connection. The infiltration onto the secondary bridge. Kai eased out soundlessly from the conduit, helped Xarynn crouching low behind inactive consoles, momentarily shielded. He quickly assessed Valak at the central command throne, flanked by 4 elite Crimson Guard Praetorians in their distinctive crimson highlighted armor. At least 6 more standard mercenaries, looking jumpy but alert, guarded the main bridge entrances. 10 hostiles minimum, heavily armed, concentrated, very bad odds. Primary communications panel. Xarynn breathed, pointing discreetly near Valak. If I can reach that specific terminal, I can bypass his local overrides and initiate a ship-wide broadcast, reveal his treason rally, all remaining loyalists. He'll have it watched, like a hawk. Kai countered softly. And getting across the open platform means exposing ourselves completely. He scanned again. Need another distraction. Something bigger. More disruptive. His eyes fell on the main power coupling junction box. For Valak's console array partially exposed beneath the main display. A direct hit there. Chaos. He communicated the plan rapidly with hand signals. I create chaos at the power junction. You go for comms immediately. Engage only if absolutely necessary. Priority broadcast. Xarynn nodded once, face set, with grim determination. She drew her pistol. Kai double-checked his weapon. This was it, taking a deep centering breath. Kai rose, slightly sighted carefully on the exposed coupling, and fired a single, precise shot. Hit the coupling, exploded in a blinding flash flood of sparks, instantly filling the area with dense, choking smoke. Alarms shrieked piercingly, as consoles on the platform flickered wildly and died, plunging Valak's immediate vicinity into confusion. What in the void report? Valak demanded furiously. Spinning, momentarily, blinded intruders. On the platform, one of the Praetorians yelled. Spotting Kai's muzzle flashed through the swirling smoke just as Kai ducked back down. In that crucial instant, Xarynn bolted, sprinting low and fast across the platform towards the now unattended communications panel. Kai immediately opened fire on the 2 Praetorians nearest Valak, deliberately drawing their attention, forcing them to take cover behind the prince's heavy command chair. Return fire erupted almost instantly from all directions. Energy discharges and kinetic slugs tearing the air, impacting consoles and bulkheads around Kai. Xarynn reached the comms panel, ducking behind its relative safety, as plasma shots sparked violently off the thick casing above her. Fingers flew across the controls, initiating the emergency fleet-wide sequence. This is Queen Xarynn. Her voice, amplified instantly, cut through the cacophony, clear, commanding, filled with righteous fury. Prince Valak has committed high treason. He has orchestrated this cowardly attack. All loyal Shaari forces rally immediately to Auxiliary Command. Resist the traitors. Valak's forces are illegitimate. Stand with your queen. Long live the Empire. Valak roared in incoherent fury. Silence her. Shoot the interfering bitch. Down, now. The Crimson Guard. Praetorians converged rapidly on Xarynn's exposed position. Kai laid down, concentrated, suppressing fire, trying desperately to keep them off her, scoring a hit on one Praetorian's leg. The guard stumbled, crying out, but incredibly kept firing towards Xarynn, even as he fell. Xarynn got the core message out, but couldn't maintain the broadcast. While under such intense fire, she abandoned the panel, firing defensively, scrambling desperately for better cover behind a thick reinforced stanchion. An energy discharge grazed her upper arm, searing through her tunic. The smell of burnt flesh sharp in the air. She gritted her teeth hard against the sudden, sickening pain, refusing to cry out. Suddenly, a mercenary, near the entrance, activated a portable jamming device. A high-pitched whine filled the air. Secondary systems flickering erratically. Targeting sensors wavered. Valak, enraged, drew his ornate, powerful energy pistol and advanced purposefully towards Xarynn's pinned position, flanked closely by his remaining loyal guards. You should have stayed dead in the wreckage, cousin. Your misplaced sentimentality has always been your fatal flaw. Kai saw Valak taking careful aim directly at Xarynn, who was momentarily trapped. Without a second thought, Kai broke cover completely, charging recklessly across the platform towards Valak, firing his pistol rapidly, knowing he wouldn't reach him, but needing to disrupt his aim. Valak, seeing the unexpected charge, adjusted his aim slightly, almost contemptuously, firing not at the cornered queen, but directly at the charging human interloper. The powerful energy bolt caught Kai squarely, center mass. Agony exploded in his chest, a white-hot sun consuming everything. He felt ribs crack, the sickening smell of his own flesh burning. His vision fragmented into static and searing pain as the impact lifted him off his feet and threw him backwards several meters. He crashed heavily onto the hard deck, plating pistol clattering uselessly from numb fingers. The jammer sputtered and died, overloaded or deactivated Kai. Xarynn screamed his name, a sound raw with anguish and pure terror, momentarily forgetting Valak, forgetting everything but the sight of him falling. That single involuntary cry, that momentary lapse, was the opening. As Valak savored his seemingly fatal shot, Xarynn exploded from behind the stanchion, a blur of trained combat reflex and sheer desperation. 2 swift strides, contemptuously deflecting a clumsy rifle butt from a nearby guard, slamming her pistol barrel hard against Valak's temple before he could react. "It is over, Valak," she hissed, voice trembling not with fear, but with incandescent fury, and the ragged edge of adrenaline. Valak froze instantly, cold metal against his skin, arrogance evaporating. His Praetorians hesitated, primary target, holding their master hostage. Mercenaries near the doors held positions uncertainly. Then the final shocking betrayal. Captain Lycaris, the guard Kai had noted earlier, who had been slumped near a damaged console, apparently wounded, suddenly lunged forward. Not towards Valak, but towards the comms panel Xarynn had just used, hand-reaching frantically. For the strength doctrine, Valak understands what must be done. He yelled, face contorted with fanatical fervor. His grim resolve hadn't been loyalty to the queen, but to Valak's brutal ideology. Before Xarynn could react, pinned by the necessity of holding Valak, Kai, swimming in a sea of pain and encroaching darkness, saw the unexpected movement. With an almost impossible surge of fading consciousness fighting the black tide, he kicked out reflexively. His boot connected with Lycaris's ankle. The traitor stumbled awkwardly, his desperate attempt failing as he crashed heavily into a sparking console, momentarily stunned. Betrayal, woven deep. Kai thought hazily, the world dissolving into gray static. Kai gasped a wet, rattling sound, fighting for breath that wouldn't come. Warm wetness spread rapidly beneath him. Looked up fuzzily. Xarynn resolute, holding Valak at gunpoint, a live broadcast out. He managed the ghost of a smile. Worth it, surrender. Valak Xarynn, commanded authority ringing in the tense silence. Your cowardly coup has failed. My loyalists know the truth. They are rallying now. Valak's eyes darted around, saw Xarynn's unyielding determination, the hesitation in his remaining guards, the flickering damage reports, heard the distant growing sounds of renewed organized fighting. Loyalists galvanized, fighting back. His gamble failed spectacularly. Slowly, deliberately face a mask of thwarted ambition and cold hatred. Valak lowered his ornate pistol. You win this day, cousin, he spat, venom dripping. But the Empire needs unwavering strength, not your brand of weak compassion. He glanced disdainfully at Kai's prone bleeding form, then nodded slightly towards the downed Lycoris. At least he understood. The Empire requires loyalty, Xarynn retorted sharply. She signaled curtly to the uncertain mercenaries near the door. Secure him, his remaining guards, and that traitor. Take them all to the brig immediately. Use stun settings only. They will face formal trial. As mercenaries cautiously moved forward, Xarynn rushed immediately to Kai's side, kneeling on the blood-slicked deck. Kai, stay with me. Don't you dare leave now. Her hands hovered over the smoking, grievous wound, her face etched with profound fear, skin paling to a sickly gray. She could see the terrifying extent of the damage, the ragged edges of burned flesh, the shallow, struggling breaths. Did we win, Kai? Managed to rasp voice, thin, reedy, tasting blood. Yes, Xarynn said, voice thick with emotion. She couldn't suppress gently brushing sweat-soaked hair from his forehead. Yes, we won, thanks to you. Just hold on. Please, medics are coming. Her broadcast had included the urgent medical alert. Kai looked up at her, at the alien queen who had become his ally commander. Something more. Saw tears, welling, shimmering like captured starlight. Good, he whispered. The encroaching darkness finally closing in, completely swallowing consciousness. Xarynn. He lost consciousness just as the first Shaari medics rushed onto the bridge, loyalist insignia clear. Xarynn stayed kneeling, refusing to leave, her hand resting protectively on his shoulder as medics deployed advanced bioscanners and stabilization fields around the grievously wounded human who had saved her life, her ship, and her empire. The coup was broken, but the cost felt devastatingly high. Recovery in the medical bay and Xarynn's explanation of events, including the prophecy twist, remained similar, emphasizing the gravity of Kai's injuries and the implications of the prophecy. Weeks later, on the palace balcony, weeks later fully recovered, though still bearing the faint silvery scar tissue only Shaari medicine could achieve so quickly, Kai stood with Xarynn on a high palace balcony. Shaar Prime's crystalline capital sprawled below, bathed in the ethereal glow of twin azure moons. The Imperial Council, after lengthy deliberation, broadcast across the sector formally sentenced Valak this afternoon. Xarynn said quietly, gaze on the horizon, stripped of title rank, holdings lineage, permanent exile to the atmospheric storm, ravaged penal colony of Cygnus X4. No chance of return, no possibility of rallying sympathizers. A living death, perhaps, but one that ensures stability without resorting to his methods. She sighed softly. Lycoris received a similar sentence, his fanaticism deemed too dangerous to contain within the Empire proper. Justice served? Then Kai replied, the strange sense of belonging, unsettling yet undeniable. What will you do now, Kai Mercer? Xarynn asked, turning to face him, moonlight reflecting in her obsidian eyes. You are entirely free. Transport back to your Earth can be arranged immediately. Kai met her gaze. Earth, home, soul, 30. Familiar skies, familiar faces, a life he understood. Yet it felt like a lifetime ago, like a story read about someone else. Could he return to that predictable structure after the chaos, the intensity, the sheer reality of the Sovereign? After her, the prophecy lingered too. Was he merely a pawn of destiny, or had something genuine, something earned, grown between them? Leaving felt like severing a vital part of who he had become. I don't know if I can go back. Kai admitted slowly, the words heavy but honest. The man who boarded your ship in chains, he doesn't exist anymore. Earth feels distant, less real than this. He gestured towards the glowing city. Less real than you. Xarynn stepped closer. The space between them charged. Shaari society is complex ancient prejudice against outsiders exists despite your status now. The challenges would be immense. Her hand found his cool fingers interlacing with his own. Neither pulled away, but alliances forged in fire can endure. Trust built across species can deepen. She paused. Iridescent skin, shimmering subtly. There is a meaningful place for you here, Kai Mercer. If you choose it. A place. My advisors, they recognize your unique strategic value. Liaison between our worlds when formal contact is made. Strategic consultant to the fleet command. She hesitated, a faint, attractive flush rising on her high cheekbones. But I offer more than an official position. Kai. Her grip tightened slightly. I offer partnership. True alliance. In strategy, in governance. Perhaps eventually, in life. Her voice was barely a whisper now, vulnerable yet resolute. The queen cannot choose a consort based solely on shared peril or even prophecy. The crown demands more. But the woman, Xarynn, offers her heart, her trust, her future, to the man who stood beside her when all seemed lost. The catalyst foretold, perhaps, but more importantly, the man who saw her, not just the monarch. Kai stared overwhelmed. Prisoner, specimen, alien. Now offered love, partnership, a shared future by the ruler of an interstellar empire. It defied logic, yet standing here, holding her hand, looking into her starlit eyes, it felt like the only truth that mattered. The connection forged in battle, tested in quiet conversation, tempered by the weight of prophecy, had blossomed into something profound. He closed his hand firmly around hers, anchoring himself. Xarynn. The name felt natural, right? Being your ally was an honor I never expected. Being your friend, a privilege I cherish. He looked deeply into her eyes, seeing not just a queen, but his future shimmering there. Being your partner. In whatever capacity you'll have me, that would be everything I never knew I wanted, everything I fought to survive. For a radiant smile broke across Xarynn's face, then genuine and unrestrained, illuminating her features like the light of her homeworld's rising moons. Relief, pure joy, and deep affection shone in her dark eyes. In that moment, she wasn't just the empress. She was the woman who faced down death and betrayal, finding strength not only within, but in the improbable courage and unwavering loyalty of an alien stranger. As twin moons cast their silvery glow over the silent crystalline city, the queen stood hand in hand with the human strategist. The path ahead would be complex, bridging vast cultural gulfs, navigating political intricacies and personal challenges, but together, bathed in alien moonlight, they were a living symbol of hope. That trust, respect, and even love could bloom forged in fire, tested by prophecy, and sealed under alien stars. The future, for an empire and a human, had taken a decidedly happy, extraordinarily unpredictable turn.